I am super excited to introduce my good friend, Amy Ballain. She's going to be sharing the power of energy today. If you don't know Amy, let me tell you a little bit about her. She's earned a well-deserved reputation as one of the most successful and respected real estate professionals in our community, and she has an extensive background in the industry. She started working with a national home builder as an on-site sales rep, and then worked her way up to running a huge sales team, and then became a real estate agent in 2007. Her dedication to providing unparalleled service and delivering outstanding results has allowed her to establish herself as a true leader in the industry and in our community and in our friend group. As a leader, Amy has not only achieved remarkable personal success, but has cultivated a team of talented professionals who share her passion for excellence. Under her guidance, Amy's team has consistently been a top performer in the market and has set standards of service and professionalism in the real estate industry. So today, we're so honored to have Amy join us on the Good Life series. And with that, I'll let her take it from here.
Thank you, David. Thank you, Heather. Thank you for the opportunity, you guys. I'm really excited. So when I was talking with David and Heather about something that I would like to speak about, this, they go over so many awesome things that you can use in your real estate business. And I just thought like this for me is kind of the groundwork of everything that we do, because if we don't have the energy or the high level of energy to do our jobs, we're not going to do them well. We're not going to show up well in our lives for our families, our loved ones, our friend circle, things like that. So this is what I decided to talk on today. So anyways, we're going to talk about how to maintain high levels of energy. And I'm excited to go through these slides. So we are going to start. So how this started for me, the big aha for me is, if you know me, I'm a very positive thinker, glass overflowing mentality. I know David had written in one of his posts that I've never had a bad day. I've had plenty of bad days, but I can kind of move on past that pretty quickly. And but when this really became an aha for me about how important maintaining high levels of energy, how important that is, was when my husband Sean and I decided to sign up for the virtual Unleash the Power Within seminar with Tony Robbins. And if you know my husband Sean, this is completely out of his comfort zone for him to do this, but we both took so much away from that seminar. So if you ever have the chance to do anything Tony Robbins, I highly, highly recommend it. I know Heather is also a fan. But during that seminar, you fill out this workbook and he goes over some pretty deep level questions. And what my big aha was towards the beginning of the seminar was my biggest focus if I want to achieve all these things that I want to do, all these goals, all these things on my vision board. If I want to achieve those, I have to have high levels of energy because it all starts there. So the Tony Robbins seminar was definitely kind of the awakening for me to say, okay, girl, what do you need to do to make sure, you're running a team, you have children, you have a husband, you have dogs, you have friends, all of those things that I wanted to show up as my best self. And so during that seminar, it was a big aha for me that's where it all begins. Funny story about that time when Sean and I were doing that seminar. Sean was in the dining room on our lower level of our house doing the seminar there with his laptop. And I was upstairs in my son's room. He's away at college. And if you've ever done a Tony Robbins seminar, we didn't realize that there's a lot of dancing and rah-rah and a lot of loud music and stuff like that, which all plays into what Tony Robbins is trying to get you to do regarding getting your energy up before he goes into his next session. So what is energy? So there's all kinds of different types of energy. But energy basically is the strength and vitality that is required of us to do what we need to do throughout our day. Why worry about improving it? Because if we don't worry about it, it's very, very easy to real estate can be very, very stressful. I know Heather did a session on a couple of weeks ago. And if you don't watch your energy, it's very easy to real estate industry over the last couple of years has been so crazy busy that burnout was a real reality for a lot of people, me included, for a while, as David knows. And so just making sure to worry about it. It should be something that you are thinking about each and every day, what you're putting into place in your life. So, and this little girl, I know you've all seen this video. This little girl, Jessica. I love this video, and if you haven't seen it, I know we're going to get the slides. I can use the one, but this came out a few years ago. And this little girl, when your energy is on point, and she's, doing this video at the premiere, and she's talking about how she loves her hair, and she loves her room, and she loves her mom, and she loves her aunt, and she's just feels so good and so full of energy. So when you are feeling on point and you're doing all of the right things to be at that level, then you're going to feel like Jessica. So we all need to try and be like her. So we're going to talk about 3 types of energy today. And obviously this is not going to go for a whole hour, but I'm just going to talk about what I have found with these 3 different types, things that I've done to help me, and what I truly feel like plays into our day-to-day as real estate agents and people in the real estate industry. So the first one is physical energy. And I think that most people think that that's all that there really is. They're worried about their physical energy. How do they feel? Do they have, the gumption to go out and go on that listing appointment and nail it, or go show 12 houses on a Saturday, deal with a client who is a challenge and run all over for them. So the physical piece of it is one. And then we've got the mental and the emotional energy. And I think that's just as important, if not more, probably the most important one, I think, actually, because where we are in our heads and what we're doing to keep that piece of things positive and feeding our brains good things and being emotionally and mentally positive and happy. You're not going to have, every day is not going to be sunshine and bluebirds. I wish they were, but what are you doing to go into your day every day and wrap up your evenings on a positive? So that way you're closing things out, you're bookending your day, and your mental and your emotional energy is good. So I think that's probably my favorite. And I think that's probably the most important one, I think. And then environmental. So environmental is going to be what's around you. What's your office look like? Is your desk a hot mess? Who are the people that are around you and that you're surrounding yourself with? Things that are in your space that also play then into the mental and emotional and sometimes the physical. So those are the 3 types. Okay, so I love Olivia Newton-John, and many of you on here probably are too young to even know that this was like such a big hit in the 70s and 80s. But Olivia Newton-John, back when she was her little let's get physical self, it became this like big trend to do aerobics and to wear your leg warmers and all of that stuff. If any of you have ever done something like 75 hard, that's a great physical challenge. It's also a mental challenge, but I would say evaluate kind of where you are in your physical energy on a scale of 1 to 10. Like, do you pop out of bed in the morning ready to start the day? Are you hitting the snooze button 10 times? Where are you and where is your physical energy at right now? And then what can you do to improve it? Some of the things that I think are very important, we'll go on to this next slide, that play into the physical part, but getting out there, going for a walk, going for a run, going to the gym, doing yoga, whatever it is, just getting your body moving helps so much. So we'll go to this. So regarding physical energy, in my like perfect day, get up 4:30, go to 24-hour fitness, have my accountability partner, which helps a lot in getting there. get your workout done. And there is just something about getting that off of your plate first thing in the morning, if you can, that sets you up for such success with the mental piece of it later as well. But physical exercise can just make you feel so much better. And if you look at people who are doing life and business at a high level, most of them are incorporating exercise into their day, into their week. So, and just for health in general, but it will help you feel physical strength to do what you need to do. The next one, David and I have talked about this, drinking your water. If you can see my desk right now, I have 4 beverages going: coffee, protein shake, tea, and my water. Drinking your water and staying hydrated is crucial. We live in a very dry state, but even if we didn't, if you are not hydrated, your mental capacity slows down, you don't feel as well, you feel sluggish. Again, with 75 hard, you're drinking a gallon of water every single day. And so that's super, super important. One of my coworkers has a minor addiction to Mountain Dew Red, and he's trying to change things up where he is drinking, more water, getting hydrated or whatever. But if you start making that a habit, fill your water bottles up in the morning, have them sitting on your counter so you can grab them as you go. You track it on an app. There's lots of different things that you can do, but staying hydrated, it sounds so simple, but it's a game changer for sure. Then sleep, rest, and naps. So I love to go to bed really early, which my husband does not love about me. But I think sleep is so important, and it's so crucial to setting up your following day, letting your body rest, and just getting that nap time in there. If you're a napper, I know that David is a fan of naps. I'm not a fan of naps because then I feel sluggish the rest of the day, but he can do it because he's young. But just resting, like put yourself in a timeout, like get rid of your phone, your laptop, go lay down for 20 minutes or go sit in the sun for 20 minutes or whatever. But sleep, rest, and naps, if you're a napper, are definitely something that's very crucial to your physical energy, because your body needs to rest. And especially in a high stress job, you are go, 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 as you guys know, with doing what you do. And sometimes I know agents, some of them on my team, that will be up emailing at midnight and doing CMAs at 1 a.m. and all of that kind of thing. So having your boundaries and making sure that you're getting your rest is very, very important. The next thing is fueling your body. So during the day, I know it's very easy to forget to eat and forget to just eat something so you're fueling your body. I don't know how many of you guys start your day with breakfast. I'm not a breakfast eater. I'll drink a protein shake or something like that. But there have been so many times where, again, in this industry, right? We're in sales, we're in a high stress job where you forget to eat. And then if you're like my husband, Sean, he's one of those people where if your blood sugar gets kind of low, you get hangry. But it's very easy to do. I mean, 2 summers ago, when things were so nuts in the Denver market, I remember there was a night that we'd been out showing each of us different clients. We came home, we're writing offers, and we were in our kitchen, and it's like 9:30 at night. Neither of us had eaten anything since before lunch, and we ordered pizza, which is not a great choice. I mean, I love pizza, but we're high-fiving for getting deals under contract, but we're both feeling just totally drained because we haven't fueled our bodies. So pack a cooler, pack a little, I've gotten these for several people on my team, but just like a little cooler to take in the car, to pack your drinks, to pack your snacks, to pack your lunch. Bring your lunch to work with you. Just don't forget to eat, because it's just imperative that you're fueling your body, hydrating your body, so your physical self has the energy to show up to do what you need to do. So, endorphins. This goes back to the exercise piece of it. I'm sure many of you have seen Reese Witherspoon and Legally Blonde. But endorphins really are a true thing. And I have to tell you, the days that I look out 10 first thing in the morning, I feel like I can conquer the day, and it's because of the endorphins. So that's why I'm a fan of working out first thing in the morning if you can. Plus, getting up super, super early makes me feel like no one's going to call me at that time. No one needs anything at 5:30, 6:30, 4:30 in the morning. It's kind of my protected little time. But then when you go and you get your workout done, whatever time of day you do it, I'm sure you all know what I'm talking about, but you just feel so good. So endorphins are a real thing. People who have endorphins are usually very happy. And with sales, you guys you're attracting, you're putting yourself out there. Like if you go into a retail store and the person who is working there, let's say you're at Ann Taylor or something. If you go into a retail store and the person's like low energy, their vibration is really low, and you just feel like, oh, I would not want to buy anything from that person. Well, we're selling these high ticket sales, like people's biggest investments. So you want all hands on deck. So get those endorphins going early in the morning. Because better business and better business for you if they feel that feeling from you. You're just like excited about life, excited about the day, excited about spending time having a conversation about. That's just what we already went over this. Your water. I love this. I saw this on Instagram or Facebook a few years ago, basically saying, don't forget to drink your water. You're basically a houseplant with very complicated emotions, which is so true. Right. And then we talked about this too, just making sure you get your sleep and tracking it. You can track. I know that my husband, Sean, he wears his Apple Watch to bed and he tracks his REM and he tracks all of this stuff. So just seeing how your sleep patterns are and how you're feeling when you look at that the next day can be definitely a clue on whether you're getting enough sleep. Here's a big one. Okay, so alcohol and caffeine. Alcohol is everywhere in our industry. Like I'm going to see David at happy hour on Thursday night. I was just at my daughter's graduation and with a bunch of 21-year-olds, like alcohol is everywhere. But I read this thing. I did a challenge a few years ago called 1 Year No Beer. And it was no alcohol at all for 1 year. And you start with 30 days, do 90, do it 365 days. And so when I did that, I have to tell you guys, like it does affect your sleep, especially as you get older. I'm 50 years old, but I love a good Cabernet. And you just want to treat it like cake. So it should be a treat. And I don't even like cake. I like cheesecake, but like treat it like a dessert. You're not going to eat dessert every single day. So watch alcohol intake because that can affect your physical, everything physically. You don't want to be hungover going into your next day or losing sleep because of it, all of that kind of stuff. But the same can be said for caffeine. And I know that a lot of people all day long are caffeinating themselves and running through Dunkin' or Starbucks or whatever you like, drinking their Red Bulls. Watch that as well. Too much of that can also affect your sleep patterns. It can make you full of anxiety, stress. And so those two things are also things that I thought I would add in there. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the power of mental and emotional energy. And like I said before, this one is my favorite because this is something that I think is, again, really, really important. And you have the power to control this, just like you do what you're doing physically and your environment. But this is all in your head. And as you guys all can relate, sales and real estate being a realtor, or if you're a lender, if you're in title, all of these things that we work in this general industry, mindset is everything. And so what are you doing to feed that and feed that positive, things, feed your mind positive things, and really watch what's going on up here, because what's going on up here then will either get you to the gym or not, and will, kind of set the trajectory of your day and your week. So a lot of people do either meditation or prayer or quiet time, that kind of thing. I think that's really, really important. When you take the time to do that, it lets you have time to be quiet in your head and reflect. I am not great at meditation. I tried it several years ago. I'm reading a book or listening to an Audible actually right now on that, the same one Heather is. And I would love to learn how to do that so I can quiet my mind, but I quiet my mind when I pray. So you have to find what works for you. But if you can make it a specific time of day, like I have my prayer time in the morning while I'm sitting with my dogs. And then I have my prayer time at night when I'm going to bed. And you just have to find when that will work for your day. But if you can have that quiet, mindful, peaceful time to just slow down, close everything out, don't have your phone near you, don't have your laptop near you, and just focus. It really can revitalize you and help with your mental energy. I'm going to have David pipe in on this next one. Positive relationships. So in real estate, we compete with all of our friends that are in the industry as well. But you do need to find those people that you click with, that you trust, that have your back, that are your friends. They're in your circle. And you should find some that are in your industry, because I don't know how many times David and I have had these phone calls like, oh my gosh, I've got to run this scenario by you, or what do you think of this, or what do you think of that? But I think it's really important to have those people who love you, care for you, who can speak truth into you in your corner, because there's a lot of people who, like that whole saying, watch who actually cheers for you, is very, very true, because people, even if they're your friends, sometimes can get jealous or feel weird if you're having some sort of success. And as you guys know, this industry is like this. You could be up here and you could be here the next year. So it's all kind of a crapshoot. But David, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, you and I do have a lot of really good conversations, and there's a couple people who are on right now who I'm close with and I have good conversations with, and something that consistently comes up that feels like in our industry, and it's probably in most industries where things are competitive like this, is everybody wants you to do well until you're doing better than them, or they think you're doing better than them, and then suddenly the energy changes. And so you just, like you said, you really have to watch who's cheering for you, and cheer for them, and just be the friend that you want to have. Because when you're in these weird lulls or your energy's low and you just need someone to give you a pick you up, don't call the person. I mean, you call them energy vampires, but don't call them, because you'll be more down on yourself at the end of it and more frustrated, and you won't have that like pick me up that you need. And then the other thing that I was just thinking about was watch people's language and watch your own language. If you are constantly having a conversation and you're talking about other people, and you hear things coming out of your own mouth or your friend's mouth, the one that gets me all the time is, oh, it must be nice. And I hate that phrase, because it must be nice, but we don't know what it takes for someone to get from A to B when we only see B. So if your friends are talking like that, or you're talking like that, like change your mindset a little bit, change your energy around that, and stay away from the energy vampires.
Yes. And I mean, people can go from being that person that you think is one of your people to all of a sudden not being that. And you just have to, sometimes people are in your life for a chapter, and not a whole book of your life. And so it's okay to clear it, like clear those people out, put them in a different category of, who you're spending time with. And, that whole saying, when you are around people, be a fountain, not a drain. I love that saying. If those people, you might have relatives that are totally draining, or you might have somebody who, you see at the office who's totally you might have a party that would help you work with you again. And the last time you worked together, it took like 5 years off your life. But make those decisions, like, yeah, money, but is that worth what you're going to probably have to go through again? So I think it's just being very selective. And the older I get, the more selective I've gotten, because I used to, oh yeah, go to lunch, let's go to lunch, let's go do this, let's go do that. And now I sit back and I'm like, well, what is that going to do? Like, is that a good use of my time, number one? And am I going to walk away feeling positive about it? Not that you're not going to be there for people when they have their problems and whatnot, but just be selective. And David said something to me at the end of this last year when we were talking about, what are your goals for this next year? We were chit-chatting, and he was so precious because he's like, I just want to be the best friend I can be, the best husband I can be, and the best agent that I can be. And I was like, oh my gosh, you're just so awesome. So, with those people that you love, that are other agents in your industry, show up for them, and they'll do the same for you if they're truly meant to be there. So I think that's a very important one. The next one is self-reflection, just taking some time to journal. I don't know how many of you guys journal, or like do a gratitude list each day, anything like that. But it's very, very empowering. And it's great to look back and, take a few minutes on the day, like what worked, what was good, what was challenging, what could you have done better? What are you looking forward to tomorrow? So those kind of things, journaling can be great, and a powerful practice. I know Oprah years and years ago talked about, like, when she started writing down 10 things a day that she was grateful for, it changed her life and her attitude. So that, again, I think is something that you can do that will feed into your mental energy. So we talked about meditation and mindfulness, positive social support from your friends, and your circle, gratitude. You can't be in a state of gratitude and be having a bad day. So your brain just can't do both. So trying to find the positive is very, very good for you, and good for the people around you too, because then they see that in you and can feel that. Laughter and enjoyment. Make the time to go have fun. I think a lot of people don't take the time to do that. We're always busy. We're always letting everybody dictate what our schedules are. We, especially if there's low inventory and not a lot of people doing stuff, it's very easy to just like be that Pop-Tart agent and jump and go do whatever. But you need to have time to have fun, because laughter is truly the best medicine. And you need to find those people that you can laugh with, and, just watch a comedy show. Sometimes Sean and I will watch a comedy show on Netflix and just die laughing. And it just feels good to laugh. So make sure that you're scheduling something that's going to make you smile, laugh, or be around somebody like that. Again, David's a good one for that. And then just enjoyment, taking the time to do some fun things, or go to the spa, or go get a pedicure, go, have a talk with your dog, like whatever is going to make you feel good. And then good stuff in and good stuff out. So this is also critical, I think, especially in the world that we live in. I don't watch the news. I don't watch the news. I see enough of that pop up on my social media, but I'm very picky with what kind of movies I watch, the books that I read, the people that I follow on Instagram or Facebook. I don't want to talk about world problems, and I'm not trying to have my head in the sand, but I have to protect, again, what's in here. And if I am worried about every little thing going on in the big world, then I'm not going to be worried about what I can do. So I'm very picky about that, and suggestion to everybody that you just, what kind of movies are you watching? What kind of books are you reading? I do love a good dinner. I will say that. But just keeping the good stuff coming in rather than all of the noise that's out there, I think is very important. After that, praying, meditating, and journaling. These are our next door neighbors. We're at the Alabama. Again, your circle is everything. My grandma, who just passed away this last fall, she was 103, bless her heart. She always referred to her group of friends as her circle. And so yeah, like the people, again, not to be the dead horse, but just be very picky with who is in your world, because it will reflect on you. And I always call the people in my life my cast of characters. And they are total characters, but I love my cast of characters, but not everybody's going to make the final cut. So, and again, scheduling fun, getting outside and getting fresh air is very important. Salt water does the body good. Unplugging your devices and just, again, laughter. Just go do the things, plan the vacations, go to Disney, go on a cruise, like do the things that will then make you a better person in your day-to-day. Because I don't know what that saying is, all work and no play makes Jack a very boring boy or something like that. There's some old quote about that. And I think it's very true. You can't work 24/7. Another thing, I love Wonder Woman and Linda Carter, the original. But when you are going through your day, the other thing that I always imagine, you're going to get phone calls with agents who might say something negative. Then you might deal with a client who says something negative, or you might not get that listing agreement signed. They might go with somebody else. Your buyer may not get the deal that you offered on. And there might be a lot of negativity thrown at you during the day because not everybody shows up in their best selves. So I always imagine like putting your little Wonder Woman bracelets on and just deflect that stuff. Like don't internalize it, don't ruminate on it, just reflect and deflect it with your little Wonder Woman bracelets, and imagine that you've just got like this shield around you and that nobody's going to mess with your mindset. These were the sections for the journaling that I was talking about. What was great about your day? What could you improve on? What are you grateful for? And what are you looking forward to tomorrow? And I've actually got this awesome, I should have put this in the resources slide. I've got this awesome, beautiful book. I don't know if any of you followed Danielle Delgado, but she is a total badass. And she has this big gratitude journal. And these things are in that journal, but one other thing that's in there that I think is very important is it's the very last line of the book for your daily entry. And it says, who should I give grace to or forgive today? And that is also a very empowering thing. So I'd add that. You guys can check out her social media is awesome. Okay, last section, boosting your environmental energy. So this is important too. And I don't know how many of you are weird like me, but I cannot have a dirty desk. I can't have piles of stuff everywhere. It makes me crazy. So when I leave each night from the office here, I make sure everything's cleaned off, ready for the next day. Got my positive quotes on my wall right here. But your workspace is important. I love a pretty workspace. I love just feeling like I can go in, do my stuff, and then move on with my day. I don't work from home. My husband works from home, and that works for him. but I like being able to go somewhere and get everything done. Same thing with my car. I don't want a cluttered car. I need to have it clean, and your environment definitely affects you. So if you've got stuff everywhere, your mind is going to be a little bit messy because you're not going to know where things are. So just watch your environment with your workspace. Connecting with nature is great. 75 hard challenge, not to bring that up again, but so many people know what that is. One of the things is your 45-minute workout has to be outdoors. And I think that Andy Frisella did that for a reason. And it is so you get that fresh air. So you're out in nature. You're not just in your home gym, in your house, or at the gym you go to. Getting out, connecting with nature, no matter what the weather is like, no matter where you're walking, is just fulfilling. So I think that's very important too. And then listening to music. So music is also something that we'll talk about here. Environmental, again, it's the workspace that you're in. It's also who you're around. And then what you're exposing yourself to. So what are the themes that are feeding into your day-to-day? What are you listening to music-wise? Is it depressing music? Is it uplifting music? What are you watching on TV? If you watch TV, is it something positive? All that kind of stuff. Cleaning up your desk. This just goes over clutter. And you guys know, like when we go into a home and there's two types of clients. There's three. There's the minimalist, which I love because that can make for a great listing. And then there's the person who has a beautifully decorated house. They're not a minimalist, but everything's in its place. And then there are the clutter bugs. And those people, I don't know if you guys agree with me, but the people who are the ones with a lot of clutter, a lot of piles of crap everywhere, I feel bad for them because it's something that is definitely a challenge for people. I don't know if you guys are little hoarders, but that's like a whole other level. But it's clutter can just mess with your mind. So those clients will always seem more stressed to me because they've got so much on their plate that they've got to clean up and deal with and all of these things. So just clear your clutter is all I'm saying. Get the stuff out of your basement and send it to the Goodwill. Let somebody else love it. Make sure your office is organized. Just get rid of the clutter. Outsourcing. Okay. So this is another thing in your environment. This is actually a picture of my dining room table. Our dryer broke like 2 months ago. And this sounds really bougie, but I love it. And Sean and I do not agree on this, but there's a company, they just changed to Poplin. It was SudShare, but we have been just sending out our laundry through this app. And they come and pick it up. This nice little girl in her Tesla comes to my house and picks up my laundry, and she takes it and she brings it back the next day, and it's beautifully folded. She can even fold a fitted sheet. But it saves hours of folding, all of that kind of stuff. Yes, we are getting a new dryer. That's in the works right now because we're getting a stackable and redoing our laundry room. But this whole point of this is like outsource the things that you don't love to do, because that's in your environment. And if you're seeing that, oh gosh, the yard needs to be weeded and I don't have time this weekend and I'm going to be out showing houses, or, oh, I need to scrub my toilets and clean my bathrooms and all that kind of stuff. Most agents I know outsource several things. We do a meal planning kit that's a Denver local company called Prepare. They bring over like 3 or 4 meals that we pick, put them in the cooler or on Sunday night, and then Sean and I have something planned for those nights, and we cook a couple other nights. So it's just doing the things that you can do to make your environment stay uncluttered. Laundry doesn't get built up. Clean, if you can hire a cleaning lady, that's the best thing ever. Because if you look at your hourly, do you really need to be doing many of the things that you're probably doing? And if you are looking at your hourly rate, you are worth way more than the time it's going to take you to clean your whole house. Or maybe you have a yard guy during the summer. So David, do you want to chime in on this? Because I know you and Vanna also are a big fan of outsourcing.
Outsource everything. It's funny
Oh yeah,
because
grocery shopping. You and I have talked about that.
yeah, yeah, if like being able to like grocery shop, have someone else go with a list, come back with exactly what you need is great. Not only because I'm not spending 2 hours on it, it also keeps me in line with my budget because I'm not getting distracted by the candy aisle, which happens every time. Um, but more importantly, I want to talk about outsourcing things inside of your business. So Heather and I, obviously, as we're growing GoodLife, there's things that we have to do on the back end that have been like bogging us down, and and not in a bad way. It's just the things that have to get done. And then we didn't realize some things were going to be as much work as they are. And so we're always going through like, okay, what can you outsource? Heather's teaching magic time system. And we're like, oh, we actually need to hire somebody for what we're talking about. And so it's funny when those things like click in your brain. And I think a lot of self-employed people or agents are nervous to spend the money because they don't want to make a commitment that they can't keep. But I encourage you to look at it a little bit differently. If you, like you said, your time is worth probably more than what you're going to pay someone to pull the weeds or go grocery shopping. So if you can free up 2 or 3 hours of your day, and then you can go generate more business, that you're going to be leveraging your time and money to go make more money. So it will be much better for you in the long run. It's just getting over that fear of, how am I going to pay this person? How can I keep them consistent? And I think sometimes people will like getting your laundry done, right, Amy? Like, I'm sure some people are like, oh my gosh, it's so ridiculous. You don't have time to do your own laundry.
It's $1 a pound, which, so I'm like spending $30 to have all of this stuff sent out, perfectly folded back the next day. And it's so easy to put everything away. Yeah, to me, I think that's cheap. Like it's
right. And $30, like when you and I go to Starbucks and get 2 drinks and a snack, we're spending more than $30. So I'll go spend that money on coffee that I could make at home. Why not have somebody else take care of my laundry for me?
Absolutely. And I mean, a big aha for me that happened, and I think you're completely right. Like we have Vanna, who is our team's TC, who I don't know what we would do without Vanna. He is worth his weight in gold. So that's something, that you can do if you don't have a great TC. Make sure you've got one who is like Vanna, who has amazing systems. So you're right, David. It's totally doing the things within your work life to outsource, and then also your home life. And a big aha that happened for me years ago, Sean and I went to Africa for a missions trip. We went to Senegal, and with our church and a group of people, and it was an awesome experience. But when I was there, what was fascinating to me is these missionary men and women these families that were over in Africa serving had people coming over to clean the house, people coming over to do their ironing and their laundry, and they were happy to employ these people because those people needed to make a living. And so, but it was fascinating to me that these people who were giving their time, to do missions work, also had people that were helping them. They were outsourcing themselves. And I thought that was a big like, okay, so it is okay for me to do this, because I do feel like sometimes, especially as women, we feel like, oh, I've got to do it all. I've got to fold the laundry, I've got to do the cleaning and, all of this stuff. And Sean, with yard work and weeding and all of that kind of stuff, it just can be overwhelming. And so, especially during busy seasons of your life, get stuff done through other people, and you're helping them make a living as well, which is a great thing. So, I want to talk about energy vampires. David and I have talked about this at length. We all know them. We all have them. Sometimes people aren't them, and then they reveal themselves to be, but just dodge them at all costs. If you engage with these people, they will drain your energy. That's what they're there for. And the energy vampires that I know really, really hate high energy people. And so you can almost kind of make a game of it if you want to, and just be your positive little high energy self, but just stay clear, because they're stuck in a rut, and, or as my friend Gretchen says, stuck in their suck, and they're just not worth being around. So David, I don't know if you, I think. So just be picky with what you're watching, what you're listening to around. And I do think everybody should have a pet. I don't care if it's a cat, or a dog, or a snake, or whatever your thing is. I know that my dogs are such a good friend. Like, David is also like that. And Heather is also like that. It's just so wonderful to have some little sweet things to take care of. And take care of a couple things, and it does. If you're so you're a big fan of being that's practically for high energy creative routine. You can have a bookend of your bookend in that you have your kids ready in the morning, have your bag packed for work, you've got all of your water bottles on that your goal is to drink all of those during the day. Have your lunch packs, snacks, whatever it is, create a routine, create workout routine, have an app where you pick your goals, track your goals, that kind of thing. Immensely. Prioritizing self-care, taking care of yourself. That whole thing that people say about, put your mask on the airplane before you help your kid get the mask on. You've got to put your mask on before you can take care of your spouse, your children if you have them, and your clients. So make sure that you're doing that. Change things up if you need to. Just because you've done something one way for a very long time does not mean that you can't change it up. If you don't like working out in the mornings, just try it. Or if you want to go in your hot tub every night to de-stress, do that. You don't have to keep things the way they've always been. So change up what needs to be changed up. Accountability partners are huge. So Hunter on my team is my accountability partner. And if you know Hunter, he is just an awesome person. And we have started this thing where we have to send each other a picture of us at the gym. So it can't be it's got to be a Snapchat, so it's live. So he goes for a run in the morning, and then I'll send him one to the gym. And if I don't, then I have to pay him for $100, and I do not pay him for $100. So having an accountability partner for whatever it is you're trying to change can make things easier, especially if you put a dollar amount on it and it's painful. That's, we have accountability partners, coaches, this, that, and the other thing in this industry. But for your energy, try and figure out who could be somebody for you that you could have keep you accountable and you keep them accountable. And in conclusion, in all of this, start small, don't try to overdo it. Be patient, be consistent. Consistency is key. If you are just trying to change little things at a time, and then build on that, just take baby steps, build your habits. It will make a big difference, I promise you. And then basically just improving your energy levels, you're going to have a better life. You're going to feel better. You're going to be remembered by the people around you as somebody they want to be around. You're going to get more business. And that's what we all want. We all want more business, obviously. And we want to attract good clients. So if you've got a good energy level, your vibration level is high, good things will happen to you. Like what you put out there, you're going to get back. So that is, and it's not just in work, it's how you live your day to day. And here's some resources. The book, The Power of Positive Thinking, is my absolute favorite book. Very short little chapters. There's gold in that book. I love that book. Another book, Thought Conditioners, same author, is wonderful. And then Success Principles by Jack Canfield. I read that a very long time ago. And that book is like this thick, but it is also full of gold. And the very first chapter is basically, he says, your life is completely up to you. This is all your responsibility. Own it. And so I recommend all of those. Sacred Drive is a book that I just read, which is also very wonderful. The book Winning by Tim Grover is great. And then music, the Tony Robbins Unleash the Power Within playlist on Spotify is amazing. It's amazing to listen to before you go to a listing, or it's just a very, very feel-good list. So those are just some of my resources. And that's it.
This was awesome, Amy. Thank you so much.
Thank you, David. Thank you guys for listening.
Yeah, this was good. I had a couple things that I wrote down while you were talking that was interesting to me. If you have a couple minutes.
Oh yeah.
So Hannah, that we know from San Diego, she did 75 hard. I don't know, she's probably done it like 5 times now.
Yeah, I love
But
you.
when we were at a little thing together in Atlanta last year, and we were talking about 75 hard at dinner, and she's talking about how, how it changed some things in her life. And then at the end of it, she's telling us, when she got to the last day, and she's like, and then the best part, and I'm like on the edge of my chair, like, okay, what is the best part of 75 hard? Because for me, it would be that it's over. And she goes, you can do it again. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, I thought you just did 75 hard and you were one and done and you were just over it. But it was a total mind shift change for me when, 75 hard is hard, obviously, and you get through that, and then it's a new habit in your life. So when you think about things being hard, working out in the morning, whatever it is, but it elevates your energy and you just make it a habit, change your mindset of, and the best part is I get to keep doing this, whatever this is. And you've got a totally different mindset and your energy's up. Another thing I wrote down was when you were talking about that you and Sean forgot to eat. I have never forgot to eat, so I don't know what that's like. It's confusing. But you also talked about Sean tracking and measuring his sleep. And in our businesses, we track and measure everything. We know where we're investing money, where we're spending time, clients, team members' salaries. It makes sense to track and measure the things that also recharge you, that don't cost money per se or aren't a time investment, but getting sleep is important. So I think it was interesting that you brought up that track and measure point outside of business.
And Sean is really, my husband, he's the member loves staff and all that stuff. He tracks a lot of stuff. Like he did 75 hard with me, and then he tracked he did his blood work before and after. It was amazing. Not that he had that, but it was just such an improvement after doing that program. He tracks his steps every day. Like he will not go to bed at night unless he hits his goal. It's crazy sometimes. Like, are we walking around the house? Like, time to go to bed. But yeah, so you're right. We track and measure everything in our business. So why not track some of these things in our personal life? And with 75 hard, you've got this awesome app, and every day it's just so satisfying to go down and be like, yep, I drank my water. Yep, I took my selfie. Yep, I did my workout inside. Read 10 pages of a book. So I think tracking is important. I think there's something satisfying about it.
I love it. I have 2 things in chat that I wanted to bring up as well. So something that Heather said when we were talking about outsourcing, that I think is really important to remember is that our time and energy is valuable, of course, but when we employ someone else to do something, they enjoy that work. That's something that's good for them. So just because we hate something doesn't mean that somebody else doesn't get joy or become empowered from doing it as a job. So we have to keep that in mind. And then we have a question from Christina, who's also one of my favorite people here. So she said, Amy, how do you detect burnout for yourself and how do you refocus?
I would say how I detect it is because David knows I had burnout last year. And I detect it when I'm not positive. And that is like, I know, and it feels like, I call it, what do I call it? I call it the dread. I've named my burnout. So I wasn't excited about work. I wasn't excited about a whole heck of a lot. And what is wrong with me? This is not me. And I definitely think that just a couple of years of the Denver market being go, 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 leading a team, having a builder account, having a family, like I want to do all things well. And I think I wasn't saying no to certain things. And so I think I detect it when I feel low energy and when I feel like I'm not excited about things. And so then, like having that vulnerability to say to the people in your life, like, yeah, I'm struggling. There were some things that happened with my daughter that had been a challenge that year as well. And so, just having those friends to be like, I'm struggling. I don't feel like myself. I need to get back on track, whatever. So if I'm not happy and my happy-go-lucky self and my positive self, I feel like I'm faking it. That is a big opportunity that I need to change.
Well, thank you. Heather did a whole thing on being burnt out as part of the Magic Time series. So Heather, do you want to jump in and add some thoughts for Christina?
Absolutely. How's my audio right now, David?
It's great.
Amazing. Yeah, I love that Amy's talking about this, and that's such a good question, Christina. I'm similar to Amy in that I can catch that I'm heading towards burnout when I'm losing joy for work, daily activities, maybe even just certain activities that normally bring me joy. If any of you would like to do a deeper dive into this topic, there is a webinar that David and I recorded called Burnt Out. Yes, there's a typo in there on purpose. And there's a chart that we cover, and it covers the 12 stages of burnout. And what I really love about that is that you can see the initial stages are pretty subtle. And then some of them are actually stages where we tend to pride ourselves, right? Like in the hustle culture, you hear people say, oh, I've only had 5 hours of sleep in the last 2 or 3 days, and I'm crushing it, but I got all these contracts. And so there's this whole idea that finding success at the expense of your happiness and health is somehow celebrated in certain cultures. But if you look at the 12 steps of burnout, and I could actually just share those slides with anybody in here, just reach out if you don't, if you want the slides instead of the full webinar. But what's really interesting is that, one, I don't subscribe to the hustle culture. I will share that I used to in my past life, and I reached such a severe level of burnout. So what happened, and this is something that I think is really interesting for us, or for me, it was really interesting for me to remember. You lose time when you become burnt out, whether it's right, Amy, whether it's subtle.
Yeah.
Like the initial stages are more subtle, right? You're like, I'm just not finding as much joy. It takes you longer to click into work because you're avoiding it. So you just lose those little micro moments, right? But then as you progress further down the burnout continuum, down those 12 stages, if you don't catch it and work on reversing it and bringing that joy back into your life, if you actually reach burnout, that can take people months or longer to recover. And imagine your state of production efficiency. Imagine your vibe that you're putting out there and who you're not attracting and how much business you're not attracting because of that. So, I mean, everything that Amy's talking about here, as far as energy and your vibe and just all these aspects, they tie into burnout so well. So that was such a good question. And it's interesting how we think that excelling in work at the expense of our health and happiness is somehow this great thing, but in the end, it actually harms you not only in production and your overall happiness, but also, I mean, people just aren't going to want to work with you.
True.
Yeah, you're so right. Thank you for sharing that, Heather. So Christina says, so much yes.